Hare Krishna Mataji.
Happy God Purnima.
Happy God Purnima. Thank you, Saint.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. Shall I start, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Matajis and Prabhujis. Welcome to today's Everyday Gita program. And wish you all wonderful Gaura Purnima. And hope you do more chanting rounds and always be in the service of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai, and kindly bless me also with your kind blessings, and please include me also in your prayers for doing more service. Yes, let us take the blessings of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai, Narsimha Bhagwan ki jai, Vamna Dev ki jai, Govardhan Giridhari ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai. Let us do the prayers. Om Ajnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are in the second chapter, contents of Gita summarized. And today we are going to see the 24th verse in the second chapter. Let us just recite the shloka. Achyedyoyam adayoyam akledyo shoshayevacha nitya sarvagata stanur achaloyam sanatanaha. Achyedyoyam adayoyam akledyo shoshayevacha nitya sarvagata stanur achaloyam sanatanaha. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burnt nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Krishna is repeatedly telling about this to Arjuna. From the 16th verse, we see Krishna is explaining about the highest tattva, that is the soul, to Arjuna. He is again and again explaining the different meanings of tattva in different angles to Arjuna, so that Arjuna will change his mind. Now Krishna is in the position of a spiritual master and Arjuna is like a siksha. So Krishna is doing all sorts of teaching Arjuna all sorts of different lessons. So this verse 2.24 is in accordance with the previous verse 2.23. Yesterday we saw Nainam Chintanti Shastrani. What does it mean? The soul can never get cut into pieces by Shatrani, by any weapon. So what Krishna is doing is, he is giving the appropriate names of the soul in this verse in 2.2 with accordance with the previous sloka. So let us see the appropriate words, what he is saying with the previous sloka. Let us compare it and see what is the appropriate words he is giving. Nainam Shintanti Shastrani. Here in this verse, he says Achedyaha, Achedyaha. This is like the soul can never be cut into pieces. Achedyaha, unbreakable. And then Nainam Dahati Pavakaha. That is Adhyayaha here. That is unable to be burnt. And in previous verse, Nachainam Kledayantyapoho. Here we see Akledyaha. That is insoluble. And in previous verse, Nashoshayati marutaha. That is, it cannot be withered by wind. The soul cannot be withered by wind. Here it is ashoshayaha. It cannot be dried. So he's telling the appropriate words of the explanation which is given in the 2.23. And on top of giving all these appropriate words, he's adding more qualities to the soul. The more qualities, what he's adding here is Nitya Sanatanaha. What does it mean? Nitya Sanatanaha is the soul is eternal and it is everlasting. And Sarvagataha, it is all pervading everywhere. Nitya Sarvagataha. Sarvagataha, all pervading. And Stanur, it is unchangeable. It is in a fixed form. The soul is Stanur. Achalaha, immovable. It is fixed quality. There is no change in quality of the soul. It has a fixed quality. So these are the qualities Krishna is adding to the soul, what he has, to the appropriate words, what he has said. Now, let us see the real significance of this shloka. Here, what Krishna says is Nitya Sanatanaha. Nitya Sanatanaha, Prabhupada in the purport, he explains, saying that he explains 2 points about this Nitya Sanatanaha. The first point, what he says is, the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole. We are all the atomic particle of the spirit whole. And the second point, very interesting, he says is, he remains the same atom eternally without any change. Still, the individual soul remains the same atom eternally without any change. These are the 2 points which Prabhupada says and significantly about Nitya Sanatanaha. Now here, like people sometimes say, the soul grows, do the soul grow in size big? As we grow, the soul also grow? No. It is very, very sure from this sloka, they say that the soul will never grow. It is unchangeable. It is eternally unchangeable. It always remains in the same form. Ashoshayaha. So the soul is also insoluble. That is what we are seeing here. Ashoshayaha. It is clearly explained here that the soul remains eternally individual. With this word, Ashoshayaha, it is very contradictory to the monastic philosophy. They say that after the soul gets liberated, it goes and merges into the Brahman. That is absolutely false thing. How can the soul get merged into the Brahman? Here Krishna absolutely says insoluble, akledyaha. When it is insoluble, the soul cannot definitely merge into the effulgence of the God. So we have to clearly understand here, the soul remains individual. The soul is always eternally individual and unchangeable. So there are 2 destinations for the soul after liberation, where it goes. It depends on the desire of the soul. The 2 destinations are, one, it prefers to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgence. So, and I'll repeat it again. The soul prefers to remain as an individual spark, just like an individual spark in the effulgence. So it is, for example, we can say we take a white full piece of paper and we just put a small white dot there. So do you think there is any change in the white dot? No, it just remains as a spark over there. So this is one type of preference which the soul takes after liberation. And there is another type of preference where the soul wants to remain as an individual with the Lord. Remain as an individual with the Lord and serve the Lord eternally. And serve the Lord always. This second preference is the one which the devotees prefer. See, like Prabhupada here in his purport, he says, intelligent soul enters into the spiritual planet to associate with the Godhead Basically, devotees are intelligent. That's why, like Prabhupada is also saying that intelligent soul enters into the spiritual planet to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No wonder they say, Krishna Bhakta Bada Chatur, right? Let us all be Bada Chatur, is it not? And always serve Krishna and try to take that second preference, what is being mentioned here. The second preference is we have to think to remain as an individual soul with the Lord and serve the Lord all the time. Always we have to move. Always we have to be in the mood of serving the Lord. How are we going to serve the Lord? Can God give the opportunity for us? So we have to keep on praying that God, just for this, to serve the Lord. And these are the two different preferences the soul thinks of after getting liberated. And now we are going to see what is Sarvagataha. Sarvagataha is all pervading. The soul is everywhere. Krishna says the soul is everywhere and it can accept any type of body depending on some logic. What is that logic? That logic is nothing but the karma. So the soul gets into any type of body and it can pertain in that depending on the karma of the soul. The spirit soul occupies each and every part of this creation. So everywhere there is spirit soul, everywhere there is spirit soul. It lives on land, water, air, earth, fire, etc. Everywhere there is a spirit soul. And the body, what that soul takes, depends on the karma. So here, now let us come to fire. We say that the soul is everywhere. The spirit soul is everywhere in this entire creation. What about the fire? There are people saying the soul is sterilized in the fire. The soul is sterilized in the fire. Now, let us have this in our mind and come back to our sloka. Nainam dahati pavakaha. The soul cannot be burnt by fire. And here in our sloka today, we are seeing adayaha, unable to be burnt. And where is the question of soul getting sterilized? So here we have to really think, we have to be chatur here. The soul cannot be sterilized and it cannot be burnt also. So there are people so-called learned people, and they say that there are no living entities in the sun planet because it is super hot over there. But it is wrong. From this statement, we can definitely say that the living entities are there in the sun planet also. How it is possible? Because they have a different body for them to live in the sun planet. That is what the Surya Loka, the word Loka itself says that where living entities stay, the place where the living entities stay, Loka. That is what Surya Loka. Surya Devata is also there. He is also a living entity. So the other living entities in the Surya Loka, they have a suitable, appropriate body to live over there. So this is a statement by Krishna. So we have to definitely accept it. Krishna's statement never goes wrong, right? So the soul cannot be burnt in fire. And now here it is very clear that the living entities are there in the sun planet also. So we have to be very strong about these points, and we have to believe in Krishna's statement, and we have to accept it, and we have to spread that also, and burn that monastic philosophy. So here today, the main theme, what we are taking back home is Achedyaha, where the soul is unbreakable, Adayaha, where the soul cannot be burnt, Akledyaha, where the soul is insoluble, it cannot be moistened, and Ashoshayaha, it is undryable, where it cannot be withered, and Nitya Sanatanaha, the soul is everlasting and the quality doesn't change, and achalaha, it is immovable. The form and the quality of the soul is always fixed. There is never a change. And it is sarvagataha, it is pervading each and every place in this entire creation. So we should take our desire, we should have our desire where we remain so intelligent. As Prabhupada says, we have to think of remaining as an individual soul with the Lord and always serve the Lord and be in the mood of serving the Lord all the time. So sarvagataha, the living entities are pervading everywhere in every place with a different body which is appropriate to live in that condition. So now Krishna is adding more and more qualities to the soul in the coming slokas. So it is quite interesting. What are the other qualities of the soul? We are repeatedly hearing about the soul's quality from the 16th verse. So let us see what are the other interesting qualities Krishna is adding towards the soul. And with all your blessings, I end for today's class. And tomorrow, let us just see the other interesting part of the sloka here. And thank you so much for attending this everyday Gita program and hearing this nectar. I wish you all a happy Gaura Purnima today, and hope you all increase your rounds of chanting and take some vows which is applicable for you and your situations. Yeah, thank you so much, Matajis and Prabhujis, for attending the program. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.